What is good? What is good, everybody? Let me get my sound levels straight. Let me get everything on my sound straight just so we're not messed up on that level. Let me make sure everything in the studio is straight for tonight's live podcast. That's right. We've got some crazy shit to cover tonight, y'all. We've got some crazy shit to cover. This is actually something that's gonna prove prove a lot of the things that Wack 100 says he actually backtracks on. You know what I mean? A lot of the things that he says while he's in interviews, he will later go on to express opinions that greatly differ from what he said previously. You know what I mean? Wack will jump on major platforms. You know what I mean? He did a whole media run with Big U. He did a whole media run with Big U where he was big up in Big U. He big upped Big U about all the work that he did to help the youth, all the work that he did to help prevention. Yeah, we're talking today, you guys. We're talking about some real shit today. I wanted to come on a little bit early, get this video out to y'all, talk about some of the real issues that are going on right now. We heard Wack 100 over the last few weeks going in on Big U about all the paperwork that he sent over to Gillie Da Kid. Okay, you're talking about all the paperwork you sent over to Gillie Da Kid. You were just talking to my guy Gillie Da Kid. You were just talking to Gillie Da Kid about how much of a real dude Big U is. You were legitimately bigging Big U up. You were talking about all the efforts that he has put in and all the changes he has made and how he is the most respected in LA. The most respected in LA, y'all. Words from Wack 100's mouth. But now we move on. A year passes. That guy's not the realist no more. Big U's not the realist. Why? Is it because a season changed? Or is it because Big U has a popular podcast now? Is it because Big U is drumming up all types of success, building all types of relationships with artists that are actually relevant right now, you guys? Artists that are actually relevant right now. I'm going to put it up a poll. We're going to do a poll. Which album would you rather buy? Jim Jones and Mano? The Lobby Boys? Or The Game? Drillmatic. I'm putting the poll up right now for everybody to vote because I want to get a little gauge. I want to get a little gauge of popularity as we do this video tonight. Everybody knows that Game's new album, Drillmatic, is on the way. Game's new album, Drillmatic, is on the way, allegedly. I say allegedly like it's Detox or something like that. We've gotten several dates. I believe we had June 17th. June 17th was a date we had for Drillmatic. It came, it went. Another date we had, July 1st, my brother, Cesar Cilo's birthday. Happy belated to my bro. But we didn't get Drillmatic on Caesar's birthday. Game cited sample clearances. I read some reports about Jay-Z. I'm not going to get into that, maybe on a later episode. Remember, when you're in the chat, drop a comment on the video. If there's ever a topic you do want me to discuss, I'll take a look at it. I'll put it into consideration. You know what I'm saying? I'll put it into consideration. I always put what you guys say into consideration. So just drop a comment. Also, let me know where you're tapping in from tonight. Let me know what city and state you're tapping in from tonight, what you're smoking on. Me, I got some 5-star. I got some 5-star on deck. You know, I'm like that 5-star stunner. I'm the Birdman of these blogs. You know what I'm saying? Brrr, brrr. I'm about to fly away on these dudes, all types of shit. Young Money, Cash Money. as long as it's money. What up, Pottstown, PA? Okay, we got Pottstown, PA in here. We got New York City in here tonight. We got New York City in here. True. I feel you, bro. I feel like you need to speak on the Chief Keef and 50 Cent Interscope situation. That's something that we could possibly bring up in the future, bro. Definitely something we could possibly bring up in the future, especially with Chief Keef taking on a new record label right now. Looks like Chief Keef is trying to get his feet back wet in the music industry, which is dope. But guys, we got to take a little look at something that happened in the past. You know what I mean? We got to take a look at something that happened in the past. What up, Santa Ana, CA? Cali's in the building. We got to take a look at something happened in the past where Whack 100 is now literally eating his words, because Whack 100 is now talking about all this BS news of Big U, all the news about Big U potentially being involved with government officials, being involved with, you know what I mean, them people, you know what I'm saying? Whack 100 has been defending Big U being involved with such programs in the past. Here we are a year later, and now he's dissing him. We got Patterson, New Jersey up in here. What up, Rondu? Don't be afraid to put it in the chat where you're from. I want to know where everybody in the audience is from, y'all. Appreciate y'all for tapping in on this live video this afternoon. Let me see. Let's get to the news here, man. So Gillie was doing an interview with Wack, right? Gillie was doing an interview with Wack. Gillie was doing an interview with Wack alongside Big U. See this real quick. Okay. Much love. We got Germany in here, Southwest VA, Patterson, New Jersey, all up in here. Definitely appreciate you guys tapping in for the topic tonight. Definitely appreciate y'all tapping in for the topic tonight. I'm on some sativa, so you know I got that energy. New Jersey, what's up? Appreciate New Jersey for tapping in. Got to ask the question to the chat as well. What up, Alan? What's popping with you, Alan? Appreciate you for tapping in. We got Connecticut in the building. Much love to Connecticut on the tap in tonight. Today, excuse me. We're still not there yet. We still got a few more. Shout out to Mikey T. I appreciate you. Hustle Man Mall says Ja Rule top 5. Mike Knox interviews. Mike Knox popped in here a few days ago. I don't know if we're going to end up getting the Mike Knox interview, though, to be honest with you, man. I don't know if Mike Knox is going to tap back in for an interview. It would be dope to have him on the podcast, though. I won't lie. It would be dope to have Mike Knox on the podcast. What up? DC on the tap in tonight. Much love to everybody tapping in from different areas. Let me know what city you're tapping in from. So Gillie did an interview with Whack 100 and Big U, right? Gillie's like, let me ask you a question. And we going to end it off like this. End of the interview. Last question. Gillie's on some real shit here. Who is the most prominent Crip of all time and why? And this is the question that he directed at Wack. Gillie very specifically directed this question. He very specifically directed the question at Wack 100. You know what I mean? Asking him because he wants to get the opinion from Wack. Who is the most prominent Crip in Cali, I do believe he said, of all time, of all time. And, I don't even really know why this is a question. You know what I'm saying? Tookie Williams is the most prominent Crip member in LA. What is up with Wack here? Wack is going to go on to say Big U. I don't get why Wack 100 is sucking up to Big U like this. It's like he shook of Big U. You know what I mean? He shook of Big U. That's what it is. It's completely obvious. And I've been wondering this whole time, like, where are these 126 pages? You know what I mean? How about the whole 126 pages of write-ups that you had on Big U? You know what I mean? And he knows that's cap because in this interview, he goes on to say Big U is the reason that gang violence is down 60%. So he's really being hypocritical in this whole situation because in one interview, he's talking about, oh, he doesn't know what Big U's got going on. He's seen hardened OGs turn, come up out of the judges' chambers and all that. But now he doesn't know anything about Big U assisting all these people. He doesn't know anything about Big U helping with the youth gang prevention. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because it works for him at the moment. He wants to say, I have all this paperwork, but just a few months or years back, he's bragging about Big U doing a great thing on Gillie Da Kid and Wallow's show or whatever podcast they were on. You know what I mean? He's like literally bragging about it to Gillie Da Kid and Wallow about this. Wack is like, I got to factor everybody in, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to give that game. I'm going to give that again to Big U. Wack 100 says he's going to give it to Big U. I'm going to tell you why. I'm not taking nothing from the ones who started it, the Tookies, the Raymonds. I'm not taking nothing away from them. I'm looking from longevity, the achievements from it, and where they stand today. Very political answer here from Wack 100. I mean, it's not like, Big U was sitting right in front of him, right? Big U was literally sitting right in front of Wack 100. They're doing this interview together. And he's like, I'm looking at it from longevity, the achievements from it, and where they stand today. Family-wise, business-wise, one of the brothers is on death row. There's only so much you can do. I don't even know if he had children. I'm not in tune with him like that. Big U chimed in right then. He's like, yeah, he had kids. That's all he said. Yeah, they had kids. His Wack 100 was going on and on and on. So at this point in time, it's like Big U and Wack were cool. They were running together. They were doing the media circuit together. It seemed like Wack was doing all the talking, though. Just like, he really does. Like, that's why he has a show where he can pretty much do all the talking. I'm not sure a co-host really works for Wack 100 because he pretty much likes to dominate the conversation. If you disagree with him, you might get ran over. We all know how it goes, man, with somebody who doesn't really understand the podcast game like that. They think it's just talk, 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 talk. No, it's not just talk, talk, talk. It's talk, learn, influence, impress, repeat, make progress. Academics has tried to log into Wack 100's live shows. Academics has tried to log in and give Wack 100 advice. His own co-hosts go and they start shows early. He gets mad at them. They miss one post. He flips out on them. You know what I'm saying? I don't know at this point, after watching what Wack 100 has done, if a podcast with him and Hassan Campbell would even work. Like, I got to be 100% honest with you guys. I don't know if that shit would even work. So Wack is like, he's bringing it down to longevity, achievements. So at this point, you know what I mean? But you realize Big U isn't really a big talker. He doesn't just talk freely with people he doesn't feel comfortable with. He's not a motor mouth. He's more of a Jay Prince type of guy, you know? He will only talk to you if he messes with you. Now, obviously, he messes with Gillie and Wallow. Gillie has been shouting out Big U on my channel for years. You know what I mean? Every time I've interviewed Gillie, you know what I mean? Every time I've interviewed, well, not every time, but in a few of the interviews, he's actually shouted out Big U. So Wack is like, it's only so much you can do sitting from death row. So we're going back to one of the guys who's actually on death row. One of the dudes is on death row. Wack didn't know too much about him. Big U corrected him. He does have kids. It's only so much you can do sitting from death row. He did a lot of children books and things of that nature because I know him personally. I know his family. I know achievements. I know what his goals was, what he wanted to do before he did them, and I watched them come to life. I watched him take hits. I watched him bounce back from it, and I watched him bounce back from it and watched him be attacked by his own people and still stay positive through it, and then survived and bounced back through it. Wack went on. When he could have shined a light or did some other shit. So I say this to say that. Business-wise, he is still here. Free. What, 16 years? Share this video, you guys. Listen to all these things that Wack is saying about Big U when he was incarcerated. Since he's been home now, 16 years, Wack 100 is also going to commend him on that. He's still free. This is where Wack is actually going to go against his own words. Talking about all the shit of, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing with them people. You're not going to put it past Wack 100. Wack 100 does not want to believe if Big U is working with them people or if he's not working with them people. He doesn't want to believe either one. He's really conflicted for some reason that a lot of people just don't understand. It's like, why are you going to be conflicted about somebody that you legitimately came into the game with? Why are you going to be conflicted about somebody who has had your back? And you could tell that Big U had Wack 100's back 100% when they went and they spoke to Gillie and Wallow. It's evident. It's evident that he had his back. The two of these guys could have really, really worked out together, y'all. The two of them could have really worked out together, but it just wasn't meant to be. So Big U agrees. Yes, 16 years. And then Wack is like, he's still free, right? He's totally legit and legal. So this is where Wack kind of proves that he always goes against things that he says. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be totally against Wack in that regard. Sometimes Wack 100 is not given the full information. Sometimes Wack 100 makes assumptions before all the information even drops. You know, he's fallen victim to a few of those things, you know, but also when you come online and you're discrediting shit that you had just said a year prior, year and a half prior, 2 years, whatever it is, when you jump on the interview years later and you're totally going against what you had said prior, it's like, don't you understand the internet exists where people can literally just go watch what you did on Clubhouse last week and then they can dip back into the past and look at what you did on interviews years ago? When people's word starts to get misused, when people's word starts to get misused by themselves, when they're coming out and they're saying one thing and then they're saying a whole nother thing, this is something we've seen Wack 100 do. And we see him do it right here. Listen, Wack's saying that Big U, he's totally legit and legal. Not only that, he stepped into our community and in his section has reduced gang violence by 40, 50, 60% in his area. Not only has he done that, he's opened his doors to who I know as arch enemies, who I know as his arch enemies. Cats that be over here and said, hey, come see me and I'll show you how to get set up so he can have contracts with the city of LA so you can help reduce the gang violence in your section. Listen to that right there, what Wack 100 is talking about, what he saw Big U doing. He said, the cats that be over there, he said, hey, come see me and I'll show you how to get set up so you can have contracts with the city of LA. So you can have contracts with the city of LA. This is Wack 100 talking about having contracts with the city of LA, you guys. This is Wack talking about having contracts with the city of LA. The same guy who actually dissed Big U for these contracts. The same guy who's coming out here and talking about he has government issued phones. You know about the government contracts that he's been giving out to everybody. And now you're going to go against the words that you've said in the past? That's when people start public service announcement. That's when people start to lose respect. That's when people start to back off completely. This reminds me of Suge Knight putting out the 20th best of Death Row set. How much of that garbage, not garbage because Death Row is classic, how much of that shit do you expect me to buy? How many of these blogs do you expect me to continue to listen to when you are going against your past words? And this isn't like, oh, Roddy Ricch wasn't hot back then, but he's hot now. Oh, Rich the Kid was doing this back then, but he's doing... No, this is not that. This is something totally different. This is you at one point vouching for your man doing shit to help the community, help the policing government to make sure there's less violence, whether it is creating a neighborhood watch or whatever they're doing. He was doing something to help, and you were really going balls to the wall for him years ago, and now you're going against him for it. I think he's going against him for it because he knows so much about it. He knows so much about it that he knows what to say. He has a conversation to bring to the people. It's something to talk about. It's something to flip the script. No pun intended. Shout out Queen's Flip. It's something to change the narrative. You know what I'm saying? Something to make people think about something else. So we're not thinking about Nipsey and Gillie and Nori. So we're not thinking about Jay Prince. You know what I'm saying? So we're not thinking about Wack dissing all of his co-hosts. Let's flip the narrative. Oh, these guys think I make fun of all my co-hosts. How can I run a show? Hassan Campbell exposed me. How can I be around people? It's awkward when I'm seeing Nori in the public. Yeah, all these things, man. Let me check it out. What's going on? I want to know, what project are y'all checking for? The Lobby Boys, Jim Jones and Mano, or Game, Drillmatic? I want to know. Yeah, it's a hard question. I want everybody to vote. I want everybody to vote on that shit right now. Talk to him. Shout out my guy, 10 Toes Down. New 10 Toes Down shit dropping. Definitely appreciate him blessing me with one of the best interviews I've ever done. So Wack is like, he's still free. He's still free. Cats to be over here, he'd be like, yo, come and get a contract with the city of LA so we can help reduce the gang violence in your section. So Wack 100 is all about this. You know what I mean? He's all about it. He's the one telling the story. He's telling Big U's story to Gillie. And now he expects us to believe him when he's saying that Big U's a rat? Big U is working with the government officials. You already told us that Big U was working with the government officials. Like, you told us that. You said that he done changed the environment in his neighborhood by 60%. Or are you just throwing out these numbers? Because you go 40, 50, 60%. Well, which one is it? Is it 40? Is it 60? Because there's a drastic increase between 40 and 60. 60%, now we're more than halfway back. 40, we're just under halfway back. Let's be a little bit more clear with our wording. Let's actually, more than being clear with the wording, let's actually know the facts. You know what I mean? Before we're just speaking up for our homeboys, talking about everything that they did. Let's let our own friends, because that's what I look at them here. They're sitting down with Gillie and Wallow. I look at them as friends. Let's let people speak for themselves. You know what I mean? Let's have a little bit less speaking up for people. I would have liked to have heard about what Big U did for his community from Big U, not from Wack 100. You know what I mean? Not from Wack 100, who talks about how Big U was on his ass to buy helmets, to get the budgeting for helmets and shoulder pads and all cleats, whatever was needed for the Pop Warner Football League. But now, years later, Wack 100 is talking about, oh, I cut the check for those helmets. Were you inspired by Big U to cut the check for helmets? Because in this interview with Gillie and Wallow, you're telling the general public that you made sure to cut the check for those helmets. But then in in the new Clubhouse interview, that's what you said. But in this Gillie and Wallow interview, you say Big U was on your ass to get a check for that shit. It's just kind of hypocritical. You know what I mean? It's just kind of hypocritical when you say one thing and then you say another thing like that. You know, the general public are looking at Wack 100 as somebody who is now an influencer in the industry. When Academics goes on to his Clubhouse and he says, yo, you're reporting this information about Jim Jones wrong. You know what I mean? At a certain point in time, it's like enough is enough. You know what I mean? You're reporting this information wrong because it looks cool. You know what I mean? It looks cool. This whole circumstance right now, Gillie Da Kid, man. First he has Jay Prince come on the show, which I don't know. I don't really look at that as he was really trying to get an uppercut. You know what I mean? I don't really feel like he was really trying to do an underhanded tactic with bringing Jay Prince on the show. Jay Prince is another person that Gillie has spoken on my channel. Go check it out. Gillie Da Kid speaks on Jay Prince. Go check it out. That's all you got to type in. I might have to do a watch along because a lot of people are getting it confused that Gillie doesn't know these people or that he knows Wack 100 longer than he's known these people. You know what I mean? People are getting Gillie Da Kid's affiliations pretty messed up. That's why I wanted to come on here the other day when Wack 100 let it be known that Gillie Da Kid is actually tight at him over all this Big U shit, you guys. Wack 100 let the world know Gillie is actually pretty pissed at him about putting it out to the world, all this shit about Big U. And why? Because when Wack 100 puts it out to the world, that's when everybody actually hears about it. If it's other people on other little platforms that nobody really knows about, and a certain amount of people are hearing about it, it's a different thing. But like when Jay Prince came on to $1 million worth of game, it did 1 million views. Jay Prince had done a few other interviews talking about Wack 100, probably did 2,000 views, 1,500 hits. Probably maybe even got deleted. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it was a Clubhouse thing. I don't know. I don't know if Jay Prince is on Clubhouse like that. I'm on Clubhouse though. It's Mikey T Movie Star. If you guys want to follow me on Clubhouse. Let me see right here what's popping with this. Let me see what's popping with this. Yeah. So these are things that he does that I don't do. I've seen him take kids into I've seen him take kids into continuation schools and take him out of his days and sit with these kids. I've seen him run around and harass the shit out of us. I need this money to buy these helmets. Right there, you guys. This is what he was saying to Gillie and Wack. This is what he was saying to Gillie and Wallow right in front of Big U. I need this money to buy these helmets, you guys. That's what Wack 100 was hearing from Big U. And now, fast forward 2 years, a year and a half, the story has changed. Now Wack 100 is buying the helmets. Now Wack 100 is getting the helmets for the Pop Warner League. Okay, that's cool. I respect somebody who does that. I used to play Pop Warner. You know what I'm saying? I respect somebody who does that so the kids have something to do, so they don't got to get so caught up. You know what I'm saying? So there could actually be some activities out there and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I can appreciate, and I think he should appreciate if Big U instilled something like that in him. You should always remember the good traits that somebody leaves with you. But no, he's using it against him. All this shit, he's practically using it against Big U, you guys. All the information, all the memories of Big U's gang prevention. Remember, look what he says here. These are things that he does that I don't do. Okay, we get it. You don't do those things. Later on, he says, I need, he hit a, he used to, I seen him run around and harass the shit out of us. I need this money to buy these helmets. I need this money to buy these helmets. I seen him do these things. So when it comes to achievements and when it comes to cripping a positive light of showing where you can come from and what you can stand for and still be standing today, all of his limbs and of sane mind. That's a big one right there. Wack 100 said that Big U is of sane mind. He's not thinking crazy. He said, so I don't get where he gets off starting a whole rivalry with the man. Sane mind and legal. He's legal, not on the run, being able to move around, multiple businesses. When it comes to that right now, today, I got to give that to draws based upon the stats. So, Wack 100 makes a big statement. Wack 100 makes the biggest statement about how Big U is the most prominent Crip. He gives it to him. He gives it to him. He just gave us all the information as to why as well. So Gillie now had a question for Big U. Gillie's like, who is the biggest blood of all time? I want to see it from a Crip standpoint, just like I saw it from a blood standpoint. Big U's like, of all time? Yep, Gillie's like, of all time. Big U's like, let me say, the biggest blood of all time would have to be Suge. He just said it straight up right there. Wack 100 is literally right there. Wack 100 is literally right there. And like, if you could have seen the look, you know what I mean? If you could have seen the look on Wack's face, because he had just got done giving this whole speech. He got done giving this whole spiel about how Big U this, Big U that. You know what I mean? Bad boy this, bad boy that. Big U this, Big U did that. Big U's a family man. Big U's got businesses. I'm really respect what Big U's doing. And then Gillie asked Big U, now that we got that answer from Wack 100 of who's the most prominent Crip, and Wack 100 just completely rode all over Big U, who's the most prominent blood? Big U's like, let me say, the biggest blood of all time would have to be Suge. Wack 100 just praised this man. He legitimately just praised the hell out of this man, you guys. He legit praised this man. He said every good thing you could say about him. And then Big U's answer is Suge. Are you serious right now? Guys, I'm going to ask you another chat question. Guys, I'm going to ask you another question. I want to know, did Suge Knight use Wack 100 as a driver? Simple question. I want to know what y'all think. Did Suge Knight use Wack 100 as a driver? So Big U just gets all the props in the world, right? Everybody watching right now, Wack 100 is saying, there's so many things that he does that I don't do. I've seen him take kids into schools and take time out of his days to sit with these kids. I've seen him run around and harass the shit out of us. I need this money to buy these helmets. I've seen him do these things. So when it comes to achievements and when it comes to cripping, a positive light of showing where you come from and what you stand for, and still be there standing today, all of his limbs and sane of mind and legal, not on the run, being able to move around multiple businesses. When it comes to that right now today, I got to give it to draws based upon the stats. So Gillie's like, okay, so now we got Wack 100. You know what I mean? To admit who the biggest Crip is, the big blood admit who the biggest Crip is. Now we're going to get Big U. You know, Gillie's a very good interviewer. You know what I'm saying? I really appreciate him for sitting with me for so many interviews. That guy is the man. You know what I'm saying? I really wish Gillie Da Kid would come and give me an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? But Gillie Da Kid is the man. And you can just see how intricate he gets with these questions. He's like, so who's the biggest blood of all time? I want to see it from a Crip's standpoint because he had just got it from the Bloods standpoint. You know what I'm saying? Big U's like, of all time? Big U, you would think Big U was going to give more of an answer, much like Wack did. But as we said earlier, you know, Big U is a very soft-spoken man or a seldomly spoken man. Big U's like, let me say the biggest blood of all time would have to be Suge. And guys, it's like, oh, whoa, hold up. You've got to see the look on Wack 100's face right now when this dude said Suge Knight. Wack 100 is just literally giving Big U all of his appreciation, like every bit of appreciation that he can. And when the question of Big U, when the question comes to Big U, you know what I mean? Big U is just like, Suge Knight, Wack 100 is sitting there in front of him, like literally right in front of his face. You know what I mean? But nah, he doesn't give Wack 100 the same respect. He didn't give Wack 100 that same respect that Wack just gave him. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, it's Suge Knight. You know, a lot of people, when you compare Wack 100 to Suge Knight, a lot of people look at Wack as a nobody compared to Suge Knight. You know what I mean? Big U probably tells Wack this all the time, but he realized Wack doesn't like him. You know what I mean? But let's keep it a bean. Nobody was talking shit about Suge until he went to jail. And that speaks volumes. Now, people like, let's say, Kanye West, different story. You know what I mean? Different story when it comes to a Kanye West and when it comes to those knockouts from Suge Knight. But you weren't hearing all the blogs, is what I'm saying. You didn't hear everybody talking about how Death Row had a 4-year run. That's what Wack 100 said, you guys. I'm probably going to do a video covering that in the very near future. But Wack 100 said that Suge Knight had a 4-year run with Death Row. Total disrespect. You know what I'm saying? People's personal opinions about what he did. You know what I mean? People think that he bullied this dude. People think that Wack was the personal driver. You know what I mean? People think that Suge is a bully, but let's be real. When you're in an industry with Diddy, when you're in an industry with Birdman, 50 Cent, Dr. Dre, you kind of need to be aggressive in this industry. I'm not saying to the extent that Suge Knight was doing. And that's just from pretty much what we've seen in Straight Outta Compton, because I never really got to witness Suge Knight in person. You know what I mean? I never got to witness Suge Knight in person. I wish I would have got to interview him before he got ultimately locked up. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, so you kind of need to be aggressive. But now with Suge Knight gone, who's the bully now? You know, Dame Dash, the Dame Dashes, they're gone. Suge, gone. The industry needs a new Suge Knight. The industry needs a new boogeyman. I think I'm going to take the job. Mikey T, the boogeyman of hip hop. I like the sound of that. It's got a vibe, right? But you know what I'm saying? Like Dash is gone. Suge Knight is out of here for a minute. Then a new boogeyman is needed. The boogeyman needs to pop up. We need the boogeyman that pops up at the Source Awards. You know what I'm saying? We need everyone checking in with that guy who's like Big Suge. And who's going to fill the void? Who's coming in to fill that void? Oh, it's Wack 100. But Wack can't really fill that void. Why? Because you were Suge's driver. Why? Because you put out Ray J. You put out Ray J's project. I'm not going to get into that right now about Ray J's project. I'm not going to get into that. Just know I got some shit for Ray J's project. You know what I mean? We can talk about that later. You know what I mean? When my vocal cords are stretched out a little bit and I can't talk and shit like that. But you know what I mean? So Wack 100 can't really fill that void of Suge Knight. I'm sorry, you're not gonna do it. You know what I mean? You're not gonna do it with a Ray J. You know what I'm saying? Nobody really takes him serious enough to be able to fill those shoes. Those are big shoes. Not anybody can just come up in the game right now and be running a $500 million empire. You know what I'm saying? You're not just going to come up with a label anymore like Suge and like Diddy did back in the day. 50 Cent tried to do it. Rick Ross tried to do it. You know what I'm saying? All these guys were trying to turn their label into Def Jam. It's a lot of work. I'm trying to do it. You know, so you know, nobody really is going to look at it because it's like Ray J won't do it. Putting out the game 5 years past his prime won't do it. And then you got Blueface. He's got Blueface, and he was really hoping and praying, please let Blueface learn how to rap. Please. If I've got one wish for this Christmas, you don't get wishes for Christmas, bro. If I could please have one wish for Christmas, it would be that Blueface learns how to rap. That would really be it. That would have been it. If he could have had the old affiliations with Ray J, if he could have had the old affiliations with the game 5 years past his prime, and then Blueface could have actually blown up to Little Dirt proportions, that's why he will sign 6ix9ine, you guys. That's why he'll sign 6ix9ine. You hear what I'm saying? He'll sign 6ix9ine. Wack doesn't instill that same fear as Suge Knight did. Let's look to the BET Awards. When Suge went to the award show, rappers were literally checking in with him. We talk about checking in when you go to different cities. Let's talk about checking in when you go to the BET Awards. And I'm not talking about checking your coat. I'm talking about checking your chain, your bracelet, your iced out rollie, and your Cuban links with Big Suge. But what did Wack 100 do? What did Wack 100 do when he went to the BET Awards? What happened? He took a picture with Nori. If Suge went there, there would have been a major news story. That's a bar. What did Wack do when he went to the BET Awards? He took a picture with Nori. If Suge went, it would have been a news story. You know, Death Row Associates does whatever. You know, Death Row, Suge Knight gets wild you know what I'm saying? Gets crazy. Death Row, Suge Knight confrontation. And what do we got? The biggest headline Wack got from the BET Awards was, aside from Ray J eating the noodles and all that because he couldn't make it to Prime 112 beforehand, how do you got Sexy Can I, that record, and then you can't go to Prime 112 before the BET Awards? I'm not there with you, man. I'm not there with you, man. Mikey T, multi-platinum recording album that sells millions. Prime 112 BET Awards. This dude's eating noodles, you know what I mean? Like he's trying to get an endorsement. You know what I'm saying? He's eating noodles like he's trying to get an endorsement with instant soup or whatever. It is what it is, though, man. It is what it is. Maybe that's what's popping on the television, man. Maybe those are the type of casting calls Ray J's getting. Shout out to Big Yay. Shout out to Big Yay. So, some people asking me about certain shit don't really know how the world works, apparently. So yeah. So after that, I could pretty much say that there would have probably been a story. Suge Knight bails out X, Y, and Z. Suge Knight bails out dude. Suge Knight pays dude $5,000 at the Vibe Awards. All these different type of situations. You know what I mean? While Wack, what would Wack be doing? He would be on Clubhouse wondering about everyone getting arrested and talking about their bail, talking about YSL isn't built like that. They're going to rat. Thanks for that tip on YSL and Young Thug, man. Thanks for the tip, bro. Thanks for the tip. Keep it to yourself next time, man. How about you do it on your podcast to make it really count? So when Wack gets caught in a lie, why do I got to be the one? Why am I the only one to see it? Well, in reality, it's either me or it's academics. You know what I mean? You know what? I'm going to talk about this. I remember academics blasted him in his own room, told him that he had the wrong information, continuously reporting the wrong information, even after his associate told him it was wrong. You know, but it's not just Jim Jones. At first I thought he just had a problem with Jimmy. You know what I mean? But it seems like he's just having issues with people that are in a higher position. Dissing Meek Mill on Drink Champs. You know what I'm saying? Jim Jones is more respected than Wack. His career, why do I say that? His career goes longer than Wack 100's career. You know what I mean? Wack basically told everybody his career started in 2008 or whatever with Ray J. Really, realistically, prior to that, he had relationships with Death Row where he was behind the scenes. Not sure if he was involved in any publishing or anything like that. Jim Jones was coming up with Dipset right after that time where Cameron was figuring it out after Death Row's run was over and Cameron was starting to figure it out. And then Cameron took the route of a label. But that's really a whole nother story. You know what I mean? That's really a whole nother story that I would love to get into at a certain point in time. Dipset's rise into the game. You know what I'm saying? The Diplomats making their rise into the game. Jim Jones making all types of noise to where he built himself from an independent label all the way up to a major label wanting him. I mean, Ack was really just wanted to go. Ack really just wanted to go in Wack 100's room and let him know, like, yo, man, you keep on getting this information wrong about Jim Jones. You're reporting it in the wrong space. You're reporting it as like it just didn't happen at that time. Academics was trying to explain that to him, and I would have to imagine, you guys, that academics had that conversation with him on more than one occasion. You know what I mean? I would have to imagine that academics had that conversation with Wack 100 off the air, you know? But Wack just kept on poking at the whole Jim Jones situation, talking about, oh, Jim Jones got arrested, and then I stopped hearing from him. Jim Jones got locked up, and then I wouldn't hear from him no more. Oh, that makes sense. You know what I mean? If somebody's going and they're involved in a case, I don't think they're going to be just talking to everybody. You know what I mean? I think they're going to be a little bit more concerned with their freedom. I think they're going to be a little bit more concerned with actually making sure they can still do all those dates, cover all the dates, for their tour. Make sure they're not going to be locked up and have to return any back ends. Let's be realistic about this, man. Just because somebody doesn't pick up your call, it shouldn't be the end of the world or even the end of your relationship with that person. It's pretty petty when somebody's going to end a relationship like that and then just show up on the internet dissing you the next week. It really doesn't make any sense to me. I'm looking at the situation and it's kind of playing out similar in multiple angles here. Like we look at what happened with Hassan Campbell. They literally finished a podcast together. These guys literally finished a podcast together and he goes to Clubhouse dissing them. You know what I mean? It doesn't, he literally has Jim Jones record. He has Jim Jones record for his artists. He legitimately had Jim Jones record a feature with artists that Jim Jones probably had no idea who the hell they were. And next time he doesn't pick up the call, now it's all over. So now you're calling Jim Jones about a music video, right? You're calling Jimmy about a music video. He doesn't pick up. Now you want nothing to do with him. How about you give Jim Jones a couple months? How about you give him a few months to, get his situation in order? But in reality, what I honestly think about that, you guys, is I think that in my personal opinion, I kind of feel like Jim Jones did a feature for Whack 100 and then Whack 100 just kept on calling Jim Jones and Jim Jones was kind of like, "Damn, man. How many favors do I got to do for this dude? How annoying is this shit going to get?" You know what I mean? How many favors am I going to have to do for this, guys? But yeah, man, so like I'm saying, at first I thought it was just Jim Jones, but then I noticed the shots he was taking at Meek Mill on Drink Champs. And I'm just like, yo, man, first of all, man, Jim Jones was one of the first artists outside of G Unit, outside of Dr. Dre and Eminem and all the guys from G Unit that showed the game love. You know what I mean? Jim Jones actually had the balls enough to put him in a video. You know what I'm saying? Jim Jones had the balls to put the game in a video. And I want to say that was the game's first major music video appearance. So the game appears in a video with Jim Jones before his G Unit deal gets underway in the general public, to the general public. He immediately had a face to us all. You know what I mean? He immediately had a face to us all. That was pretty well planned on the game's part. So he wasn't so foreign. He wasn't so brand spanking new to us when we saw How We Do and when we saw Hate It or Love It. We got to see the gritty, edgy game. You know what I mean? Because when the game came in, he was a different person than the guy that we first saw Dr. Dre promoting. He said it on When the Chips Are Down. I linked with the doctor. I didn't have no patience. He put me with 50 Cent. Now I got a facelift. That's what the game said. G Unit gave the game that facelift he needed. Sometimes that popularity, that spark, you know what I mean? And 50 Cent had it at that point. 50 Cent was going on to be one of the most popular and the most famous people at that point in time in the industry. And I'm talking up against all the other who's who of the industry. You know what I mean? We would go on to see 50 Cent record movies with the likes of Nick Cage. We would see him work with John Cusack, Bruce Willis. You know what I'm saying? We'd see him work with Gerard Butler. This guy was really working with a who's who of the music industry. And I got a lot of respect for him, man. I got a lot of respect for the moves that he's made, when it comes to building relationships with the likes of Sylvester Stallone. You know what I mean? To the point where that movie he did with Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger, they actually made 2 sequels to it. I think it was 2. Or tell me, was there another one as well? Because I remember some complete BS with those films. But so he kept connected with the films, even though they went from being a DVD movie even though they went from being a movie in the theaters. Obviously, Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger link up for the film. It's going to the theaters. You know what I mean? Big box office first week. That one, No Escape or whatever it was called, Escape Plan, whatever it was called, it didn't really I don't think it did all that great. Arnold Schwarzenegger would not return for the sequel, so they brought in Batista. The movie ended up going straight to DVD or whatever. And 50 Cent was still in it though. You know what I mean? Why would you deny it? That was a different character for 50. If anybody doesn't know, he actually played a computer nerd in that one. He was like the tech guy, I believe. Let me check out the poll, y'all. I need y'all to vote in the poll. The poll is, did Suge Knight use Wack 100 as a driver? 81% of the people say yes. I'm wondering, you guys, did Wack 100 have the car or something? Is that what it was? Did Wack 100 actually have the car? Like, I'm confused. Is that why he was using him, or did Suge just not like to drive his own cars? If anybody could point out that for me, that would be great. So, man, like I said, Jim Jones is more respected than Wack 100. His career just goes longer to the general public. The general public recognizes Jim Jones, you know what I mean, more than they recognize Wack 100. Hassan Campbell, even Hassan Campbell is more respected than Wack. And, and it's why he has so much envy for them, in my opinion. I can literally hear it. I can literally see it through the computer. Look what these guys are doing. These guys are making records. They're making Billboard charting records. Slide. We got Slide. They're performing everywhere. They're working with the hottest artists in the game. They're wearing a little purple. And on Clubhouse, guys like to get salty. Guys like to get salty, man. And they want to get salty about someone wearing purple when in reality, didn't Cameron get that stigma up out of here years ago when he got a pink vehicle, when he wore pink fur, when he smoked pink blunts, when people were running around with pink Glocks? And don't give me that shit, it was pink. The stigma of color should be gone. That stigma of color should be gone. I like my rose pink. I like my pink. I was going off on that one, man. But yeah, man, the whole thing of Jim Jones was wearing purple. Are you kidding me? This is Dipset we're talking about, man. It's even the same clique. It's not like Lloyd Banks or Tony Yayo, or it's not like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like you got people from other groups outside of Dipset. This is literally the group that put that shit on the forefront. It's not like we got, but you know what? I'm not going to put it past nobody because, like I said, matching colors is whatever, man. Purple, light green, light baby blue, all that good shit. You know what I mean? Don't be trying to diss somebody's clothing. Don't be trying to diss somebody's clothing unless, I mean, Jewel's, I don't know what the hell was going on at the verses, man, but, Jewel brought all of his dope clothes out. We smoking the best kush. We smoking the best kush here on this channel. I want all y'all to follow me on Instagram. I'm going to put it up so y'all can follow me. Definitely appreciate it. No, I never got to interview Lloyd Banks, but my dude actually did have him out to Connecticut to do a show. Lloyd Banks puts on a dope-ass show. Salute to Burlington County, New Jersey. Salute my guy Tyson Garcia. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. Hit that Instagram and follow me on the gram if y'all want to. So, talking about someone, these guys are talking about someone is ratting, just to get back to the purple. These guys is talking about someone is ratting just because they're wearing purple. Please stop spreading the cap. You know what I mean? Like, just legitimately stop spreading the cap. Like, these guys are making noise. Jim Jones and Mano are making noise. They actually have a record that broke through. Everybody wanted to count these guys out. Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all, Marco. Everybody on here, subscribe if you haven't. Yup, exactly, Jonathan. 50 did a dope movie called Righteous Kill with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. It was okay. It was no heat, you know what I mean? It was no heat, but honestly, the fact that 50 got to work with De Niro and Pacino in that movie that kind of had an obvious ending, I'll just say that much. It kind of had an obvious ending coming out, but just to get him to see him working with them, you know what I mean? Just to get to see him working with them, even though I don't know, I don't think it was the best role for 50 in that one. Didn't he have gold teeth in that one? And I'm not saying none of the other movies with like Forrest Whitaker or Bruce Willis. I don't think any of those movies were particularly good. You know what I mean? One good film 50 had was called Home of the Brave. You know what I'm saying? He did a really good job in Home of the Brave. But a lot of those films he did on his own, they just really weren't that great. And I'm just being real with you guys. But what it did lead to was 50 Cent going on to become comfortable with movie making. And look what he's done. He has brought some of the most amazing production to us. I know it with Power without even having seen it, because I watched BMF and I was just so, you know what I mean? So into it. I'm like, damn, 50 really knows how to create an environment. That's one of the most powerful things a director can do. My brother, Jeremiah Kipp, I noticed that in his first movie that he did. The first movie he did, he set the tone for that movie in 3 minutes, the opening sequence. I was like, whoa, my brother just set the tone. I was really seriously impressed. And 50 has set the tone. He's choosing the right directors. They're writing great scripts. I really do want to check out Power. I'm going to have to find out the sequence and the order of it. But I'm telling you, I'm really in love with BMF, and I'm not afraid to say it. Just like a lot of these guys that were 50's ops. A lot of 50's ops were saying, yo, we love Power. You know what I mean? That's what they were saying. Yep, 50 was doing a lot of that with Lionsgate. Yep, he got a great opportunity, man. Anybody on here that's not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Anybody that's on here that's not following me on Instagram, make sure you follow me, guys. I want y'all to stay in tune with me. I'm the dude reporting that news on the internet. I'll always be here reporting that dope news, you guys. Today, I wanted to give you an early, live, exclusive. Had to talk about this, man. Gillie Da Kid literally had Wack 100 on the show calling Big U one of the most influential. He had him on there admitting that Big U isn't a rat. Now he wants to try and discredit Big U and talk about, yo, he's got this type of relationship going on. He's getting this type of government assistance, making this type of bread. There's this amounts of paperwork out there. Yeah. Okay. Well, what about when you were telling Gilling and Wallow about how he had the violence in the neighborhood down 60%, and you were totally aware of what he was doing, even giving out contracts to other people to start changing the situation in their own neighborhood? You were completely aware of all of that. But now it's, oh, I don't know. You can't trust anybody. I remember the dude from 1997, man. I thought he was the OG. I thought he was the OG, man. I thought he was the OG. Well, the OG knows all the information. And your OG turned all that information on all y'all when he found the right opportunity. See, sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like Gilly said, don't just be calling somebody an OG because they're older than you. That's just an old guy. An OG is someone that is offering game. This dude just watched all your game and spun it out on y'all. And dudes is like, yo, man, that was the OG, man. That OG used to give me that work like, yeah, he gave you the work. He was charging you 200% on top. Are you joking right now? Oh, that OG always had that shit right, man. OG always had it for me, y'all. Yeah, I bet he did. And he had it for about $300 more. Look at what was played out. Look at what played out in Big Meech's series with Big Meech and his brother. You know what I'm saying? Look what played out with their dealer. He literally would not let them go because he was making bread off of them. He literally would not let them go because he was making bread off of them. Look at how these situations play out, man. And now Wack 100 doesn't trust Big U because of everything is going on that he already previously knew about. Oh man, there must be something more to it. There must be something more to it. You're allowed to snitch from 1987 and they won't use your information till 1997. So I don't know what's going to happen. Big U's been working with them since whatever year. We're going to see what happens in 2030. Big U might come out of the judge's chambers just like OG from 97. Man, how are you going to live your life thinking that? How are you going to ruin the relationship that you obviously had with Big U? I think Wack 100 needs to come to his senses and apologize. You know what I'm saying? I think he needs to come to his senses and apologize because he's going off of emotions. He's going off of some bullshit that he's thinking. He saw it in the past and he thinks the past is going to repeat itself. These two guys were making their way in the music industry together, y'all. I don't think Big U had any intention. First of all, Big U already made his intentions known. And that was to reduce the violence going on in the neighborhood. And he did that in his neighborhood specifically by 40, 50, 60%. Maybe that's a year increase. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's what Wack 100 meant. But sometimes he just be spewing information out there. You know what I'm saying? He's putting information out there. 40, 50, 60,000. Yeah, I think he needs to apologize and get this shit over with Big U, man. You know what I mean? I'm looking at Big U and Wack 100 speaking with Gillie Da Kid, and it's like, yo, these guys obviously had an idea to come into the game, which Hassan Campbell pointed out as well. He said they both wanted to come in and they both wanted to do different things with they both wanted to come into podcasting together. They obviously ended up branching off. Big U had his check-in series. Wack 100 is starting his 100 ENT. A lot of people saying Wack 100 was going to work with Hassan, but he was obviously supposed to work with Big U at first. I mean, what other reason were Gillie and Wallow and them having a discussion for? And then he just threw it all the way down the toilet. He threw it all down the toilet because of what he believes could be the case. Well, Wack, man, if you're not doing anything to jeopardize yourself or your career on some Treyway shoddy shit, or you know what I mean? Or, like Wack says he's been involved in the industry since '08. You know what I mean? He said he's been involved in the industry for quite a while, even before that with Death Row and shit. So if you've been involved with the industry for a certain amount of time, man, your shit should be good to go to the point where you can work with Big U. I don't understand what's all the calling the technical fouls now. You're focused on the music industry. Hell, you work with a snitch. You legitimately work with a snitch. You're trying to sell the snitch's records. So I don't know where the problem even would have ever come in with to you to have to expose this information, wrongfully expose it, because you already knew. You already knew. You know what I'm saying? Wack 100 already knew. He already told Gillie about it. And now he's backtracking, trying to tell Gillie and Wallow something else. That's when people get exposed, man. I hope you guys enjoyed my live podcast today. Everybody that is watching this on demand, I want you guys to drop a comment in the chat. Everybody make sure tune in 10:30 p.m. tonight. I will be back live 10:30 tonight. Make sure you don't miss it. I will see y'all tonight, man. Peace out. This is Mikey T, the movie star, man. Actually, man, let me see. I'm gonna chat with y'all for just a second before we get out of here. Follow me on the gram. Follow me on the gram. Let me light my chronic back up. I don't need to run out on y'all that real quick. All I gotta go do is run down to the cellar and shit and grab my champagne. I got it down there cooling. Yeah, I got it down there cooling and shit. Got the champagne on deck for tonight. About to be a good night, y'all. About to be a good night, y'all. 10:30. Make sure y'all are up in here 10:30 tonight. All right. Make sure y'all are on this live 10:30 tonight. Appreciate you guys for tapping in. I'll see you on the next episode. Peace.